Hey guys, well, I just wanted to talk to you real quickly about a leadership principle that I feel like is really going to have a big impact on Switch moving forward. And what that leadership principle is the law of the big Mo. I'll say it again. It's the law of the big Mo. And what does that stand for? It stands for momentum. When we first started out the semester, we saw a lot of momentum in Switch. We started seeing a higher amount of students, a higher amount of leaders in attendance, and there just felt like there was this momentum. But all of a sudden, we had a snow day. And then the next week, there was no Switch. And that really stunk because in my mind, I was thinking, oh my gosh, we have so much momentum. But I looked at it and I just said, well, we're just going to have to build momentum back up after the break. And so that is where we are. That's what we're going to have to do. And so I wanted to talk to you guys about how exactly do we build momentum. And the principle is really simple. And it is basically this. It's that consistent little wins lead to big momentum. So consistent little wins lead to big momentum. And we see this clearly in sports all the time, especially when you watch basketball, or at least when I've seen basketball. There's a team that suddenly gets hot and they're hitting threes and they're draining them and they're catching up on the other team. And then what does the other team do? They call a timeout because they want to stop that team from building momentum and potentially taking the lead. And so there are a whole bunch of other sports analogies, but that's generally the idea. And so for us, as we're going into the rest of the semester for Switch, how do we build momentum? It's by finding little wins every single week that kind of snowball into this big momentum towards the end of the semester. And I just thought for a moment about what some of the little wins could be for each of your ministries. And these don't have to be the ones, I mean, they could if you want, but they don't have to be the wins for you. But I was just thinking, if you're a host team coach, it could be that you're going to take two leaders through the growth track that we just released in Switch. So you personally are going to take two leaders on your host team through that growth track. Another thing could be for the check-in team. We're going to shave 5 minutes off of check-in this week. That's our goal. We're going to shave 5 minutes. We're going to find a way. It normally takes us, 15, 20 minutes to get students through? Well, let's try and do it in 10. Let's try and do it in 15 if it's 20 minutes. We're going to shave 5 minutes off of check-in. Another thing, if you're an experienced coach, it could be, I'm going to empower two people this week. The things that I normally do as the experienced coach, I'm going to empower that. I'm going to entrust that to somebody else. And then as a small groups coach or as a small groups community leader, it could be something like, I'm going to implement a communication system this week. And that's going to be something that's consistent throughout the semester. So on Mondays, communication is going to look like this. Wednesday's communication is going to look like this. Thursday's communication is going to look like this. And we're just going to keep repeating that. And then the next week you come up with a new win or a new goal. And as we continue to hit these goals, we're going to celebrate them. We're going to win. And one of the ways I like to do it is I crack open a Gatorade. You don't have to do that, but this week, if you achieve your win this week, we're going to have Gatorades at the end of Wednesday night. But anyways, that is the law of the Big Mo. And I wanted to share that with you guys because we are trying to build momentum. And this is something that we can lead our teams to be doing as well. So if you have small group leaders under you, what is their Big Mo? What little wins can they start to rack up and to start to measure? So we can be celebrating that as well, because what gets celebrated gets repeated, right? And all of that is leading to momentum that we're going to see throughout the semester, which is going to lead to life change, which is going to lead students to becoming fully devoted followers of Christ. Well, thank you guys so much for giving me 4.5 minutes of your time. Let's finish it like we always do. Whoever finds God finds life.